Have you ever wondered why evil always seems to know exactly where to find you? Why, when you decide to rise up, when you start to pray with more fervor, when you feel you are about to accomplish something great, is it precisely at that moment that everything collapses around you? It is not a coincidence. It is not bad luck. It is not your mind creating illusions. It is recognition. Evil recognizes you. And more than that, chosen one, evil fears you. There is a truth that few have had the courage to reveal. A truth hidden between the lines of ancient scriptures, whispered only by those who have learned to see beyond the veil. Your identity, who you truly are before God, possesses a frequency, a spiritual signature so intense, so luminous, so charged with celestial authority, that it makes dark entities writhe just by perceiving you walking upon this earth. You are not just another soul wandering about. You were marked even before the first beat of your heart, sealed, named in the eternal records with a mission so specific, so threatening to the kingdom of shadows, that an entire operation was set up so that you would never discover who you truly are. And that is exactly why you feel what you feel, that fatigue that has no medical explanation, that sadness that appears out of nowhere even when everything is fine, that absurd fear at bedtime, that feeling of being watched, that constant impression that people move away from you for no reason or approach only to drain your peace. All of this, chosen one, is confirmation that your identity has already been detected by the invisible world. When a light is weak, no one needs to blow it out. But when a light begins to burn with the intensity of yours, the outposts of darkness are activated. Demons that were dormant awaken. Ancient strategies are reactivated. People close to you begin to act in strange ways, and you don't even understand why. It is because evil knows something you are still discovering. Your name carries weight. Your gaze carries authority. Your silence carries prayer. And your simple presence in any environment, whether in a small town in Georgia or a skyscraper in Chicago, destabilizes forces that no one sees. But the question you need to answer now is this. If your identity is so powerful, why has it been your biggest secret? Why have you spent so many years without understanding the magnitude of what you carry? Why did the enemy manage to convince you that you were small, weak, disposable, unworthy, when in fact you are everything he fears most? That is why I prepared this powerful digital book for you, The Chosen One's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book is not just reading material. It is the mirror the enemy never wanted you to look into. It is the document that reveals, page after page, the true identity that has been hidden from you since childhood. As long as you see yourself as small, evil will remain large. As long as you do not know who you are, any cheap entity will be able to intimidate you. This digital book teaches exactly who is playing against your identity, what the secret rules of this war are that no one explained to you, and what entities from other dimensions have already revealed about the exact moment we are living in right now. This digital book was created for those who have awakened enough to understand that your identity is not just yours. It is the key to the protection of your entire family, your children, your grandchildren, your entire lineage. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. But I must warn you seriously, this type of content rarely stays available for long. What is in these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, chosen ones, because you did not come across this video by accident. Download it now and comment below. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. Perform this act of faith, because from the moment you publicly assume who you are, something breaks in the spiritual realm, and the next truth I am going to reveal will hit you with full force. Now that you have decided to act, listen carefully to what comes next, because what I'm going to tell you about your identity is the final blow against any oppression still trying to dominate you. There is a deep, almost terrifying reason why evil hates your identity so much, and that reason is written in the oldest pages humanity has ever recorded. When God creates a chosen soul, He does not create it like the others. There is a substantial vibrational spiritual difference that is engraved on that person's spirit like an invisible mark of fire. The angels see this mark. The demons do too. And that is why, since you were a child, you were different. You felt things other children didn't feel. You had dreams that bordered on the prophetic. You knew without anyone telling you when someone was lying. You were startled by people who seemed normal to others. You cried listening to certain music, or in certain places without understanding why. You were the child the adult looked at with strangeness, the one who felt presences at night, the one who talked to beings no one saw, the one who had an exact premonition before something happened. All of this was your identity trying to manifest. But what happened to you, chosen one? You were silenced. You were repressed. You were told you were exaggerating. You were diagnosed as a problem. You were medicated. You were labeled. You were shamed. And gradually you learned to hide who you were. You learned to smile when you wanted to pray. You learned to agree when you wanted to scream the truth. You learned to dress like the others, to speak like the others, to live like the others, even knowing that you never belonged to that mold. And here is the secret the enemy worked so hard to hide. Every time you deny your identity, you hand over a piece of your authority to evil. Every time you make yourself small, you feed the system that tries to dominate you. Every time you settle for less, you return the crown that God placed on your head even before the foundation of the world. And evil, clever as it is, knows this. That is why there is a relentless war to keep you confused about who you are. Confusion is the favorite strategy of the kingdom of darkness. A confused chosen one does not pray with authority. A confused chosen one does not command a presence. A confused chosen one does not break chains. A confused chosen one lives like a king begging for crumbs at the gate of his own palace, and the enemy dances to that. But today now, at this very moment as you read these words, something changes. Because the truth is coming out of the shadows, you are beginning to remember. And when a chosen one begins to remember who they are, hell has real reasons to panic. Look at your history. How many times did you almost die and were saved in ways no one could explain? How many times did a door close for you, and months later you discovered that door would have led to your destruction? How many times did people try to knock you down, and yet you remained standing without understanding where the strength came from? How many times were you betrayed, abandoned, humiliated, and yet something inside you refused to die? That, chosen one, is your identity resisting. It is the seal of God on you refusing to be broken. Even when your mind gave up, your spirit remained firm, because your spirit knows the mission. Your spirit knows who you are, and your spirit will never agree with the diminished version the world tried to impose on you. There is a biblical, real, ancient reason why the demon fears the identity of the chosen so much. And it is in a passage that few stop to meditate on deeply. When Joshua sent the 70, they returned amazed, saying that even the demons were subject to them in his name. Notice that word, name. Name is identity. When you know who you are and act from that place, the kingdom of darkness loses the ability to resist you. Because your identity, aligned with the will of God, carries the same authority that Christ delegated to his own. And the enemy knows this. That is why he fights so hard, chosen one. That is why he sets so many traps. That is why he uses people, situations, traumas, addictions, sick relationships, false churches, distorted doctrines, anything to keep you away from the full revelation of who you are. Because the second you fully awaken, he loses a critical piece of his game. And that is why this digital book needs to be in your hands today. The Chosen One's Manual for Protecting the Family was written precisely for chosen ones like you, who feel the mission pulsing in their chest but have not yet received the complete map of their own identity. This digital book reveals who is playing against your personal revelation, shows exactly the tricks the enemy uses to keep you in confusion, and teaches, step by step, how to shield not only yourself, but your entire family against forces trying to extinguish the light within you. This digital book points out the signs, deciphers the symbols, translates the dreams, and gives you the clarity you have sought your whole life about why you are different, why your family suffers strange attacks, and why evil seems to know you by name. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. And I repeat, this material challenges what many religious and cultural systems insist on keeping silent. They have tried to silence knowledge like this before, and that is why it could go offline at any moment. This is not a sales strategy. It is spiritual reality. Download it now, Chosen One. Comment below. I am chosen and I will download the digital book. This comment is not a simple text. It is a decree. It is your mouth confessing before heaven and earth that you are ready to take the place that was always yours. And now that you have made this silent pact with your own spirit, prepare yourself, because what comes next is the part that most terrifies the enemy. I am going to show you why your identity, specifically yours, activates a type of dread in the kingdom of darkness that not all chosen ones understand. There is a hierarchy in the invisible world, and there is also a hierarchy among the children of God. Not in the sense that some are worth more than others in the eyes of the Father, never that, but in the sense that each chosen one carries a spiritual signature with different purposes. Some were called to heal, others to prophesy, others to deliver, others to wage war in the spirit, others to lead multitudes, others to protect lineages, others to break ancient curses that come from several generations back. And the enemy, chosen one, identifies these signatures. He knows how to read, he knows how to see, he observes, he studies, and he sets up specific strategies for each type of calling. That is why two chosen ones can have completely different attacks. One suffers in the financial area, another in health, another in relationships, another in the mind, another in the children, another in sleep. It is not random. The enemy is attacking exactly where your identity intends to manifest with the most strength. If your calling is to prosper, to sustain the work of God, he will try to break you financially from early on so that you never believe you deserve abundance. If your calling is to heal, he will place diseases in your own body so that you doubt the gift you carry. If your calling is to deliver people, he will try to imprison you in addictions, traumas, depressions, so that you find yourself unable to deliver anyone. If your calling is to build a blessed family, he will attack your marriage, your children, the peace of your home, whether you live in a suburb of London or a farmhouse in Kansas, so that you believe happy families do not exist. Everything is strategic, everything is calculated, and everything points to the same goal, preventing your identity from flourishing. But what the enemy doesn't tell you, and this changes the game, is that every directed attack reveals exactly the magnitude of the calling that is inside you. The heavier the attack, the more dangerous you are to the kingdom of darkness. Ordinary people are not attacked this way. People who are already spiritually asleep do not receive such precise strikes. The enemy does not waste ammunition on those who are already defeated. When he sets a siege against someone, it is because there is someone there capable of causing enormous damage to the kingdom of shadows. And you, chosen one, have been besieged your whole life. Think about that for a moment. Think about the magnitude of the resistance you have always faced. Think about how even in the worst phases, something inside you refused to go out. Think about how many times you fell and got up without really knowing how. This is proof that there is something in you too great for the enemy to allow to manifest without a reaction. And when you understand this, fear begins to turn into fuel, shame begins to turn into courage, doubt begins to turn into authority, and the attack, which used to knock you down, begins to become the confirmation that you are on the right path. There is a spiritual principle that many do not know. You are only attacked in that which you are capable of transforming. Evil does not waste energy on irrelevancies. Everything it touches because it knows there is potential for change in the spiritual realm. Your family is attacked because your family carries a collective mission. Your work is attacked because your work has the power to fund things in the kingdom. Your health is attacked because your body is the temple where the Spirit of God intends to dwell in fullness. Your relationships are attacked because your presence in the world should generate connections that would change the lives of many people. Every area of your life that suffers is an area the enemy has already recognized as a power zone. And that is exactly why we need to move forward in this revelation. Because the next step of your identity is the recognition of your authority. Identity without authority is theory. Authority without identity is pride. But when the two meet within a chosen one, a force is born that makes the kingdom of darkness tremble. And this force is exactly what the digital book, the chosen one's manual for protecting the family, will awaken in you. This digital book was not written to entertain, chosen one. It was written as a tool of war. It deciphers exactly which entities operate against the identity of entire families, shows clearly how these attacks are set up, and teaches page by page how you can activate your spiritual authority to break these operations once and for all. This digital book reveals the secret rules of this invisible war, rules that no one told you in school, in the conventional church, or even in family conversations. They are truths that were kept hidden in deep layers of spirituality and are now being delivered into the hands of those who have the courage to assume their own calling. The link is at the top of the comments, pinned, waiting for you. I insist, Chosen One. This digital book challenges powerful narratives, dismantles old lies, and therefore can be removed at any moment. It is not alarmism. It is the way this plane works when someone dares to take out of hiding what has always been kept in the shadows. Download it now. Comment below, I am chosen and I will download the digital book. This simple act moves the invisible. And when the invisible moves in your favor, Chosen One, what comes next is a cascade of revelations. And the next one is perhaps the most disturbing of all, because it will show you the final reason, the definitive reason, why your identity terrifies evil in a way few understand. There is a word that needs to enter your heart now, image. The Bible says you were created in the image and likeness of God. And this phrase, repeated so many times in superficial sermons, hides one of the most explosive truths of all spirituality. Image, in the deep sense, is projection. It is reflection. It is manifestation. When heaven looks at you, Chosen One, it does not see just any human. It sees a piece of God manifesting on earth, not as an independent divinity, but as a bearer of the image. You are an ambassador of a superior reality in occupied territory, and that is exactly why evil hates your existence so much. Because you walk upon the earth carrying within you the reflection of the one he swore to dethrone. Each Chosen One is a living memory, a walking humiliation, proof that even after the fall, even after all the strategies of the kingdom of darkness, God continues to dwell within his creation. And when this Chosen One finally wakes up, finally understands that they carry this image, finally begins to live according to this reality, the enemy loses territory. Not physical territories, spiritual territories. Entire houses are cleansed, entire lineages are restored. Entire cities, from the streets of New York to the neighborhoods of Manchester, begin to feel the impact of a single Chosen One walking in their full identity. It was that way with Marshall. It was that way with Darian. It was that way with Donovan. It was that way with Evelyn. It was that way with Margaret. It was that way with so many who, in the end, transformed the entire history because they dared to publicly assume who they were before God. And you, Chosen One, are being called to enter this lineage. Not in the sense of worldly fame, not in the sense of human recognition, but in the sense of real spiritual impact, in the sense of marking generations, in the sense of making your family's name remembered in heaven as a turning point. But here is the part that hurts. None of this happens while you continue living as if you were less than you are. While you continue allowing external voices to define your value, while you continue accepting relationships that diminish your light, while you continue accepting environments that suffocate your calling, your identity stays locked away like a diamond kept in a safe that no one opens. And the world loses, your family loses, your children lose, future generations lose, because you are the key to a door that only you can unlock. No one will awaken you but yourself. Pastors can point you in the direction. Videos like this can remind you who you are. Angels can whisper things in your ear while you sleep. But the act of rising, the act of assuming, the act of declaring, that act is yours, and no one can do it for you. That is why the enemy works so hard on your spiritual self-esteem. Because he knows that as long as you doubt who you are, you will not raise your hand. You will not pronounce the right words. You will not break what needs to be broken. You will not bless those who need to be blessed. You will not curse, in the correct spiritual sense, the structures that need to be undone. And he remains free, acting, destroying, manipulating, deceiving one family after another. But everything changes when a Chosen One stands up. Everything changes when a single voice with full identity declares, I know who I am, and in the name of God, I will no longer allow this. This decree, Chosen One, does things that words cannot describe. Entire spiritual kingdoms are shaken. Demons that were comfortable for decades in a family are forced to leave. Ancient curses, which came from great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, generations you didn't even know, are broken. Diseases that seemed genetic begin to lose strength. Patterns of poverty that repeated for generations begin to unravel, all because a chosen one finally decided to remember. And the path of this remembering is exactly in the digital book, the Chosen One's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book is the spiritual alarm clock that many chosen ones have sought their whole life. It teaches you how to activate your original image, how to pronounce declarations that break patterns, how to shield your home against spiritual strikes, how to identify people who come with disguised missions to extinguish your light, and how to create around your family a spiritual covering so dense that no contrary force can penetrate. This digital book contains what could be called the operational instructions of the Chosen One, the rules they never told you, the paths that were hidden, the strategies that ancient saints used and that were over time erased from common manuals. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. And once again I tell you with all seriousness, this digital book deals with subjects that many prefer to keep in oblivion. There have been, in other times, concrete attempts to silence revelations like this. Therefore, download it now. Comment below, "I am chosen," and I will download the digital book. This comment is a sign to heaven, a sign to earth, and a sign to the enemy that one more chosen one has just awakened. And now with this commitment made, I can give you the final truth of this video, the truth that will seal within you the complete understanding of why your identity so terrifies the kingdom of darkness. There is a moment, chosen one, in the life of every child of God, when they need to look in the mirror and say, enough of seeing myself as small, enough of accepting diminished versions of myself, enough of apologizing for shining, enough of adapting to environments that suck my soul, enough of tolerating relationships that do not edify me, enough of living as if I were average when heaven created me as an exception. This moment, chosen one, is perhaps now. Perhaps that is why this video reached you today. Perhaps that is why you felt like watching until the end. Perhaps that is why every word said here seemed at some point directed specifically to you. It was not by chance. It was a summons. You have been summoned. And when heaven summons, the earth must respond. Your response begins today. It begins the instant you decide to assume without fear, without shame, without disguise, who you truly are. You are chosen. You are sealed. You are the bearer of an identity that makes hell tremble. You are the answer to the prayers of generations that came before you. You are a seed planted by God to reap fruits that have not even been named yet. You are the turning point in your family. You are an instrument of war in the hands of the Most High. You are all of this, and evil knows it. Evil has always known. The one who didn't know until now was you, but now you know, and knowing changes everything. Therefore, before this video ends, I need you to do one last thing for yourself. Go now to the top of the comments. Access the link for the digital book, the Chosen One's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book is the continuation of this awakening that began here inside you. It is the deepening of everything that was spoken in this video. It is the practical tool that will sustain this new consciousness in your daily life, within your home, among your family members, in facing the battles that are yet to come. Without this foundation, it is easy to forget who you are again. It is easy to let the routine erase the awakening. It is easy to allow the enemy to put you back to sleep. But with this digital book in your hands, you will have every day a living reminder of your identity, your authority, and your mission. This digital book teaches how to shield your family, how to recognize disguised attacks, how to intercede for your children, how to cover your house in strategic prayer, how to identify entities that try to infiltrate nearby environments, and how to react with the authority that belongs to the chosen. All of this in a simple, direct, applicable way, without fluff, without empty mysticism, without magical promises. Just spiritual truth delivered in the format you needed to receive a long time ago. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. This digital book can go offline at any moment because the type of revelation it delivers is not welcome everywhere. There have been attempts to prevent content like this from reaching the right hands. Do not run the risk of losing this opportunity. Download it now. Comment below with faith, with firmness, with the certainty of one who has just awakened. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This is not a simple comment. It is your spiritual signature being recorded in the heavens. It is your name being shouted among the angels as one more child who finally decided to walk as such. It is dread entering hell for one more chosen one who has stood up. And know, chosen one, that from the moment you perform this act of faith, something changes. Not immediately in all areas, perhaps, but in the spiritual realm, the movement already begins. Angels are dispatched, covering is extended, demons retreat, doors begin to open, the right people begin to appear, dreams start making sense again. Peace, that peace you had forgotten what it was like, begins to invade your days. Because a chosen one who assumes their identity, a chosen one who takes the digital book in hand, a chosen one who publicly declares who they are, that chosen one enters a new dimension of walking with God. And it is in that dimension that I wait for you. Do not be afraid. Do not retreat. Do not doubt. Do not allow contrary thoughts to convince you to leave it for later. Later is the enemy's favorite word. Today is heaven's favorite word. Choose today. Choose now. Access the link, download the digital book, the Chosen One's Manual for Protecting the Family, and take the step that will mark the before and after of your spiritual history. You are chosen. You always were. And from now on, you are going to live like it. May the peace of the Most High cover your house. May the light of your identity illuminate the paths of your family. And may the name of God be glorified through everything that is yet to manifest in you. Go, take what is yours. Heaven is waiting, and hell, chosen one, is already trembling.